binding the two friendly countries and means of supporting cooperation between them. The public prosecution confirms that the cases it received have decreased by 18% during the past year compared to the year 2019. And the COVID-19 patients in the Sultanate hospitals continue to increase, reaching the highest daily level since the start of the pandemic to be 623 cases. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq received a cable of thanks from the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia, in reply to His Majesty's cables of condolences on the death of His Highness Prince Badr bin Fahad bin Saud Al Kabir Al Saud. His Majesty the Sultan also received a similar cable from His Excellency President Mohammed Abdul Hamid of Bangladesh in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on his country's Independence Day anniversary. And His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to the President Nguyen Xuan Phuc of Vietnam on the occasion of being elected as President of the Republic. His Highness Said Fahad bin Mahmoud Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers, received today His Excellency Ignacio Casas, Vice President of the Federal Council and the Swiss Foreign Minister, and his accompanying delegation who are currently visiting the Sultanate. During the meeting, both sides reviewed the good relations binding the two friendly countries and means of supporting cooperation between them. They also exchanged views on the matters of mutual interest and developments on the regional and international arenas. His Excellency the Swiss Guest expressed Switzerland's desire to consolidate the bonds of bilateral cooperation in many areas, stressing his country's appreciation for the Sultanate's balanced policy in its international relations, which earned the respect and appreciation for all, praising the results of his meetings with officials in the Sultanate, expressing his satisfaction for the future of the growing relations between the two countries and the mutual keenness to upgrade it. The meeting was attended by His Excellency Said Badr bin Hamid Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, and His Excellency Plus Ab, Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Switzerland to the Sultanate. His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Naumani, Minister of Royal Office, received in his office His Excellency Ignacio Casas, Vice President of the Federal Council and the Swiss Foreign Minister, and his accompanying delegation. During the meeting, the mutual relations binding the Sultanate and the Swiss Federation were reviewed, and the number of issues of common interest in aspects of enhancing cooperation were discussed. A session of political talks between the Sultanate and Switzerland was held today at the Foreign Ministry. During the session, aspects of enhancing bilateral cooperation between the two friendly countries in various fields were discussed. The two sides exchanged views on the number of regional and international issues of common interest and emphasized their joint efforts to support all of the peace initiatives aimed at promoting international peace and stability. On the Omani side, the session was chaired by His Excellency Said Badr bin Hamid bin Hamoud Al Busaidi, Foreign Minister, while His Excellency Ignacio Casas, Vice President of the Federal Council and the Swiss Foreign Minister, chaired the Swiss side. Within the framework of the visit, the Minister and his Swiss counterpart signed a memorandum of understanding on political consultations between the two countries' foreign ministries. Topics related to marine fields between the Sultanate and Swiss Federation. Top discussions of Rear Admiral Saif bin Nasser Rahbi, Commander of Royal Navy of Oman, with His Excellency Ignacio Casas, Vice President of the Federal Council, and the Swiss Foreign Minister and his accompanying delegation. The guest visited the Maritime Security Center, in which he was briefed on the roles and tasks of the center, represented in managing and commanding maritime security operations against maritime risks, in addition to search and rescue operations. The public prosecution confirmed that the cases it received decreased by 18% during the past year compared to the year 2019. The public prosecution said during its annual press conference that the total number of cases it received reached 23,831 cases, indicating that bounce checks topped the most frequent crime, followed by the violation of the labor law, the law of foreigners' residence, and technical and electronic crimes. The public prosecution revealed that the percentage of receiving cases electronically amounted to 87%, with 20,727 cases. Still to come on News Bulletin. Afi, town in the wilaya of Wadi al-Ma'awil, is distinguished by many touristic attractions. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The Ministry of Health announced that 1,208 new cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the Sultanate, bringing the total number to 165,482 cases. The total number of deaths reached 1,728. The total recovered cases reached 148,303, which is 90% of the total recovery rate. The minister indicated that the total number of inpatients reached 623, among which 196 are in intensive care units. The COVID-19 patients in the Sultan's hospitals continue increasing to reach 623 cases. The patients in intensive care units also increased to reach the highest daily level. On the other hand, 47 death cases are registered within the last 6 days, which is considered the highest daily level since the start of the pandemic. The medical cadres and staff are exerting great efforts to save the lives of COVID-19 patients, and they, along with the bodies concerned, call on all to strictly adhere to the precautionary measures to avoid any further infections and damage to the community. COVID-19 vaccination campaign for citizens continues in the governorate of Dakhiliya, namely the wilaya of Bidbid, amid a wide attendance of local people there. The health committee in the wilaya of Bidbid allocated a number of public majlises in the wilaya as vaccination centers. The aim is to avoid overcrowd at the health centers in the Dakhiliya governorate. Officials at the health establishments in the governorate organized and follow up the vaccination process. The automatic approval service for licenses launched by the government has been praised by businessmen and economists, stressing the importance of the service that falls within the axis of improved incentives for the business environment and investment. More details in the following report by Ahmed bin Mahmoud Al-Hinai.
The automatic approval service for licenses launched by the government has been praised by businessmen and economists, stressing the importance of the service that falls within the axis of improved incentives for the business environment and investment in the economic stimulus plan in order to allow local and foreign investors to practice economic activities by obtaining an automatic license that allows them to engage in commercial activity with little delay. A number of businessmen and investors talked about the benefits of this service in promoting various economic activities, improving the business and investment environment, achieving the principle of transparency, facilitating business practice, speeding up the establishment of projects, and activating government oversight. Economists and traders also stressed that the service will stimulate the business environment in the Sultanate, develop the private sector as a partner in development, enhance the competitiveness of the Omani economy, develop local and foreign investment, and encourage entrepreneurship and small and medium enterprises. The automatic licenses approval service integrates licenses and approvals for 1,500 economic activities into one license that is issued through the electronic portal Invest Easy at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion.
Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman al-Safadi today received his Saudi counterpart, Prince Faisal bin Farhan al Saudi, in the capital Amman. In a formal statement to the ministry, said al-Safadi, who is also Deputy Prime Minister, and Prince Faisal affirmed the depth of the fraternal relations between the two kingdoms and their leadership, and the ongoing work to develop them in all fields. The two ministers pledged to uphold the security and stability of the two kingdoms and to stand together in the face of all challenges. They reviewed developments in the region and ways to deal with them in a way that serves common interests and Arab causes and consecrate security and stability. The statement continued that Al Saud arrived in Jordan yesterday, carrying a message to Jordan's King Abdullah II from King Salman bin Abdulaziz, confirming Saudi Arabia's support for Jordan. Italy's Prime Minister on a visit today to the Libyan capital of Tripoli, his first trip abroad since taking office, lauded the North African country's efforts to curb the flow of migrants to Europe, following the footsteps of other European leaders who recently met with Libya's new interim government. Premier Mario Draghi held talks with Prime Minister Abdulhamid Dbeibeh. Libya's interim government, which took power last month, is meant to bring together a country that has been apart by civil war for nearly a decade. It's also meant to shepherd the country through general elections on the December 24th. Speaking at a joint news conference with Dbeibeh, Draghi said the fact that he made Libya the destination of his first trip outside Italy as Premier was evidence of the solid historic ties between the two countries that he aimed to deepen. Italy, as part of the EU, has cooperated with local Libyan institutions to try to stem the tide of migrants, with tens of thousands setting off from Libyan shores, many to Italy as an intended destination. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said people should continue to get their AstraZeneca COVID-19 jabs amid reports that regulators in the UK were looking at potential links between the vaccine and instances of blood clots. Johnson, on a visit to a production facility involved in the manufacture of AstraZeneca vaccine components, said people should follow the current advice from UK's Medicine and Healthcare Products and Regulatory Agency and keep taking the vaccine. Johnson said the government was sticking to its roadmap to gradually reopen businesses and society, and stresses people in the UK would not need COVID certificates to access hospitality. He said so-called vaccination passports were being considered for overseas travel.
Restaurants, indoor pubs, no question of them. What, of course, we're looking at is what several other...
An ensemble of dates in all colors and types went on display at a festival in Egypt, a top producer of dates and a country that cherishes the sweet fruit. The festival came days ahead of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, in which the faithful abstain from eating or drinking from sunrise to sunset. When the sun does set during the fasting month, most Egyptian households and all Muslims first put a bowl of dates on the table before any other type of food. It's a typical choice for many people across the region to break the day's fast, and tradition dates back centuries. An annual date festival would normally be held in Egypt's Souaya oasis, an isolated spot in the desert famous for its majestic palm trees. This year, because of the coronavirus pandemic, organizers moved the festival to a spot in Giza within Greater Cairo instead. According to data from UN Food and Agriculture Organization, Egypt was the world's top producer of dates in 2019, followed by Saudi Arabia, then Iran. And finally, in the Sultanate, Afi in the wilaya of Wadi al-Ma'awil is a town distinguished by many touristic attractions, including its ancient forts and castles. More details in the following report.
The town of Afi in the wilayat of Wadi al-Ma'awil is one of many sites in the Sultanate distinguished by many touristic attractions, including its ancient forts and castles, which are well preserved up to this time, that display old architecture characters. These indeed testify to the long history
Afi is the center of Wilayat Wadi al-Ma'awil. It is a town where you can testify to the long history and rich heritage in this wilaya. It is surrounded by palm trees and also green farms which are irrigated by the village. We can talk about many places here in Wadi al-Ma'awil, especially also in Afi, like Hujrat Sheikh, which we are here now, and Asfala Castle and Tala House, and also Beit al-Ghasham. Also, we can talk about Beit al-Khandaq in Musalmat. All or most of these places are restored by the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism.
The moderate climate and its mass farms seen here produce abundance of various agricultural products.
People of Wadi al-Ma'awil, they are working in agriculture. They are growing dates, lemon, crops, grains, as well as onion and garlic.
These farms are irrigated through ancient irrigation system where a long, deep path of water running across the farms, houses and streets and distributed equally using appropriate time day and night. It's an original blessed Omani irrigation system that deeply connects to the country's heritage, culture and history.
Wadi al-Ma'awil has an old history, as the oldest thing has been found in the wilaya was a filiant vessel. Dates back to the 2nd millennium BC. That vessel was found in 2005 in a perfect condition, to be one of the most rare antiques in the world because of its complete parts and unique condition. Currently, that vessel has been preserved in College of Arts at Sultan Qaboos University.
Afi is a center for Wadi al-Ma'awil Wilayat, where various government services and projects made it to be a potential tourist destination. Afi town is a traditional town in Wadi al-Ma'awil. It's an enchanting visit that will transport you back in time and will also give you a picture of current modern development in these beloved oases of palm tree. In the shadow of these date palm trees here in the Afi, Wilayat Wadi al-Ma'awil, I'm Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television.
You're watching the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Highness Said Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Said reviews with Vice President of the Federal Council and the Swiss Foreign Minister the good relations binding the two friendly countries and means of supporting cooperation between them. The public prosecution confirms that the cases received decreased by 18% during the past year compared to the year 2019. And the COVID-19 patients in the Sultan's hospitals continue to increase, reaching the highest daily level since the start of the pandemic, to be 623 cases. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and good night.